All right, let's take a break from the toy videos for just one video. Just one video. We're going to go back to my other stuff. We're going to do rock worst to best discographies. And this time I'm doing the long promised Iron Maiden. The last one was Metallica. That was way back in like April. And I usually do these like every 2-3 months. I was all ready to go film this in July. Then Iron Maiden it was announced they were putting out a new album. So wait a little bit longer, listen to the album, let it sit with me, let it gestate in my soul, and then we'll make the video. And it's been out for about a month, so here we go. We got Iron Maiden, 17 studio albums. Iron Maiden, I will say, not my all-time favorite band, but I like them a lot. I'm not a completist with Iron Maiden. I only own half the actual physical albums. I wanted to listen to every Iron Maiden, fill in my gaps. I've heard every album at least once now, because this is kind of like a layman's video. I'm not the most hardcore fan, but I wanted to showcase or do a video about the mid-range fan, his worst to best. The last few I did were all me being like a mid-range fan. The bands I'm the most hardcore about, they were like the early episodes. But this is me filling in the gaps for the other bands I also like. I've seen them in concert twice. That's where I got this shirt. It's a bootleg. I was out in the parking lot. Long after the show, we were tailgating. The bootleg t-shirt guy, he's walking around. And he's going, yo, guys, shirts. I was like, I ain't got any more money, but I got a hamburger. He's like, deal. Give him a hamburger. Got this cool Iron Maiden shirt. It was the Somewhere Back to Time tour. 2008, I think. Good times, good times. The other time I saw him was Ozfest. Was that 2005? Awesome show. They blew Black Sabbath off the stage, I will say that. So, all right, here's my list. All right, number 17, starting at the bottom. Some people are probably going to say I put this one way too low, but I pull this album out once every few years, trying to give it another chance, and I still never like it. Matter of Life and Death. And it usually, like the first song I like, Different World, sounds good. It's a quick, short rocker, which is all good, Iron Maiden classic. But then after that, the songs sound dry. You don't like the production. Very long intros. They do the plot, all those kinds of songs like that, and they just jam on forever at the end. I can never get into this one. I can't tell you any more highlights other than the first song. I never finished listening to this thing. I got it first time I listened to it was painful. Maybe if you listen to it song by song, if somebody throws one song on, listen to it. Oh, it was good Iron Maiden song, but as a whole, I can't get through this thing. I can't. It's going to be a theme with everything they did from Bruce coming back. Let me tell you that. Where are we next? Number 16. I don't have this one. I don't have a physical copy. I only listened to this maybe twice, going through my me trying to fill in the gaps. I want to hear all Iron Maiden, showing them their respects. Final Frontier. That one started good. Had like this weird kind of techno-y sound, and the rest, there's like really no big highlights. Like El Dorado, what was the name of that song? That was kind of alright. I think that was like the single at the time, but I remember when it came out, I was like lazy. I'll get it. I always would buy the Iron Maiden new albums. I never got around to buying it, even though the cover looked cool. And if I am actually going to finish buying up all the physical copies, that's going to be one of the last ones. But it's a little bit better than that one, but it would. So number 15. Speaking of long songs, but I like this one. I'm going Book of Souls. Speed of Light. There should have been more of that on here. And, that's like an old school, something off a Powerslave kind of fast song. Empire of the Clouds, really long. It's like 18 minutes of songs. Like, please, tap it out. Come on. Double album. We don't need a double album. You've done the long songs. Please cut them down. One really interesting one was they did one about Robin Williams. The hell was the name of the Tears of a Clown? That was another highlight to this one. Don't hate this one. I like this better than the last two, but it's got its problems. Speaking of long double albums, new one. I've listened to this. I go out for like a walk about every other night, and Senjutsu, whatever. Bruce doesn't even know how to say it. He said so on Indie Trunk. I mean, the other one had some bangers on it, like Speed of Light. This one doesn't really have a banger. I guess the one big banger on this album is Stratego. And it's got some cool videos, I'll say that, and they kind of change up a little bit. There's a little bit more keyboards and things in the background. Changing up the sound a bit, but it doesn't, like, there's nothing in there that, like, makes me salivate, makes me rock out and kick ass and stuff like that. So, yeah. Going through these fast. Trying to go through these fast. We're already at 6 minutes. And we're only at number 14. Number 13. I never bought this album because I thought the cover was ugly. So you know which one I'm probably talking about. Dance of Death. But you know what? You don't judge an album by its cover all the time. You know, it puts like an ugly picture in your mind. It's like, what happened to the guy who did all the old covers and stuff? Any of the guys who did the covers before this. Some cheap piece of crap. But no. Passchendaele was awesome. Good song. Epic song. You look forward to that when they play that live. The rest of the album, it's still pretty good. It's not great, but it's good. But they're starting to go into the formula since Bruce came back. And, you know, we'll get into when Bruce comes back after, a little bit later up the list. But the songs, they get the mix of the fast ones, the slow ones. There was nothing really changing. They're kind of set in their ways. It's turning into like AC/DC, where every album is exactly the same. And you're starting to get a little less excited. Like the other one, like Senjutsu at least had like some weird, really long, like epic stuff on there, but it's starting to creep in. But this one still had a lot of energy to it, though. I'll give it that. Number 12. Like when I first listened, this one always had a bad rap. So I was kind of like, when I'm going to fill in the blanks and listen to all the albums, like, why did this one, when I first listened to it, why does this one have like a bad rap? But it starts out pretty good, but it's No Prayer for the Dying. Then you listen to more of it, and the choruses kind of stink. Bring Your Daughter to the Slaughter. I forgot the one, Up in Smoke or whatever the hell song. That had a really bad chorus. A friend of mine, the Mother Russia song, he used to swear by that. That was like his favorite Iron Maiden song. I mean, this still sounds like it's the really good stuff from the 80s, but it just sounds like the least of the good stuff from the 80s. This is what is this album, 1990? It's like this is their first not as good album. That's what I'm going to say with that one. But still, I'll say it's underrated. It's still fun to listen to. Songs are short. You're not getting the big, long, plotting dun, 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 intros and stuff like that. The chorus doesn't go on for 5 minutes at the end. So number 11, we're going Brave New World. That's a CDR, Mike. What the hell is that in there for? A friend gave me this one, so I always listen to this one. Thank you. But that's them returning to form after the Blaze Bayley years, and which I haven't mentioned them yet, so that means I must like them a little bit. I might have kind things to say about Blaze Bayley years. But yeah, this has got the Wicker Man on there and the Navigator song. It's good. It sounds like good old school classic Maiden. That's what you wanted when Bruce came back, and you were happy and you were satisfied. But things haven't changed since then, and there's just been the same album after. Just the songs keep getting longer. So this is the beginning, and then everything just kind of stuck in. They're thinking they're artistic, but I feel like they've been stuck in neutral since this album, or whatever gear, first gear, second gear, however cars work. So where are we at now? Number 10, X Factor. all my friends, high school, hardcore Iron Maiden fans, they were devastated Bruce left, and this is the album that came out, so everyone's really looking forward to this one, seeing what it was all about. And then we were like, what, 17, 18, 19? This one came out in, I think, 95 or so, like that. And they heard this. We were like, oh, next time Maiden comes through, we're finally going to go see them in concert. They didn't want to go see that because of this. But you know what? It wasn't that bad of an album. Looking back now, I got more of an appreciation for it. Because Sign of the Cross, when Bruce plays the songs, they add a whole new life to them. I will say the production ruined this album. It's all about, like, what I find was say is the production ruined it. They could have gave Blaze some like echo or something on his voice, make it soar. It just sounded flat when he was, because the guy had a nice, big, powerful voice. It just wasn't working so much on the album. It just, who did produce this? Was it Kevin Shirley yet? No, it was just Steve Harris. Steve, come on. You should have went to somebody else. But it's got some good, and also it's got Yannick Gears. There's one song on here, the one I really liked was Man on the Edge. And I was like, oh, that sounds like Rainbow. Then you got to think back. It was like, well, he was in Ian Gillan's band. And what Ian Gillan do? When he was in Ian Gillan's band, they were making songs that sounded like Deep Purple. Boom, Deep Purple, Rainbow. That's what we got. Then, after that, you still haven't mentioned this album, Mike, so you must strangely really like this one. Yes, I do. I like Virtual 11. I don't even have a real copy of it yet. That's the one I keep meaning to buy. All right, Angel and the Gambler. That song did not need to be 10 minutes long. It was a good song up till about like 5 or 6 minutes, but they could have cut the last 4 or 5 minutes off of that thing. Yeah, but the other songs on there, they're all fun and catchy. I liked it. It was kind of a step up. If anybody can send me a video on how to separate vocals on like the Audacity program, I want to do a remix of either something off Virtual X Factor or Virtual 11 and put some like echoes and double up Blaze Bayley's voice. I think I can make these albums sound better. I don't remember if Kevin Shirley did that one or not, but he's kind of a really flat producer. He didn't do Blaze justice, because if you listen to Blaze live, I think he was pretty good on his songs, and I find like when he would do Bruce's songs, they're interesting. I like to hear. I mean, he didn't quite hit all the notes, but I liked hearing them done differently. It's always fun. Oh, speaking of which, here, look at this. 1983 tour wallet. I had this from my older brother. Took his stuff. I took some of his records too, but he got some of my Iron Maiden tapes. He's got my Killers, and he's got my the first one, the self-titled. So number 8. I could have put this at number 7, but I didn't, because that would have been lame and predictable. But I got 7th Son of the 7th Son, and Can I Play with Madness? That's great. 7th Son, 7th Son I like. Clairvoyant I like. Maybe low, maybe too high. No, not too high. Just maybe too low. I don't know. I just think I like all everything up at the top of this list. You really can't debate. You know, any of the albums I might have put too low, you're not replacing any of them with these. We all know that. If you think I put the Matter of Life and Death, I can't even remember the name of it because I just keep, but I'm not putting that above number 7, Somewhere in Time. Hell no. There's no debate with that. We're keeping Somewhere in Time. What else are you going to say, though? All right, number 6. We're going to go right past Somewhere in Time. We all know it's great. Number 6, Fear of the Dark. You know why Fear of the Dark's number 6? Because I love the song Fear of the Dark. I love Be Quick or Be Dead also. I had the t-shirt. It was when I first started listening to music. That album was out at the time, but it's not the first Iron Maiden album I had. The very first rock record I ever bought was higher up on the list. Forget that story. Forget I said it. We'll skip ahead. Number 5, maybe too low. Peace of Mind. Blood of Icarus is on there. The Trooper's on there. Regal's Dare's on there. Those are my favorites on there, but maybe too low. I don't know. But that would be number 4 is Killers. Love Killers. You know why I love Killers? Is because I got this. I got the original version of Made in Japan. And Wrathchild's on there. Killers is on there. Innocent Exile's on there. And I just want to talk about this one just for a bit. This is from that tour, and it's got the best version of Running Free. They re-released this with like the whole concert instead of it just being an EP. I suggest checking that out. I streamed that. It was great. But going back to Killers, that was a big debate. What's better, Killers or the first one? Because Paul Di'Anno, he was awesome. He ruled. So number 3 is Iron Maiden. And it's always weird. Like the first album always has like that song they did better live. They always did better live. Like every time you hear like the songs off Kiss, the first album, self-titled, they all sounded better on a live. I think all the songs on Iron Maiden's first album, every version you hear of them live is actually better because the production's kind of weak. Martin Birch wasn't there yet. All the best out. Martin Birch, he changed with the times. Every album production was just a little bit different. He always kind of stepped up his game. But Iron Maiden, since they got with like Kevin Shirley, is just like it's the same. So let's make. What do we got at number 2? Number 2. You know, this is either 1 or 2. So I got it at number 2. Number of the Beast. Weird thing about this. Let me show you. I always listen to the tracks out of order. Because, is that side 1 or is that side 1? Kind of says it right there, but I always kind of listen to them out of order because of that. So I always listen to side 2 first, and instead of side 1. I thought I had a better flow to the album, to tell you the truth. Because I had this record, and then I put it on a dub cassette, which I no longer have anymore. That is the real mastered version. The slightly too fast dub version I made. I used to play in my car. You play the album my way. The album starts with Number of the Beast, and then goes to Run to the Hills. But the real way is Invaders starts off the album. I think Number of the Beast should start off the album. My way was better. I'm sorry. That's the Mike running order. So here's an honorable mention. I like this one. Real Dead one. So this is what I'm talking about when I had all the better versions of songs, except for Running Free, because Bruce sings that one. I want to hear Paul Di'Anno sing it. It's not that it's a bad version, but I think that the live stuff from the first album sounds better live. And so that's number 1. First rock album I've ever bought. Powerslave. Remember, I was in Caldors, and I wanted an album, because all the cool kids in like 4th and 5th grade were listening to metal, so I was like, I'm going to get the evilest, most heaviest shit there is. And that was Iron Maiden, although looking back, it's not the evilest, most heaviest shit that there is. This is long before Cannibal Corpse, stuff like that. But at the time, this was like, oh my god, it's Satanist stuff. And my sister told my parents, I was like, look what he bought. He bought that. It's got like Satan on one of the songs. They're like, Lucifer, you know who that is? That's Satan. That's what little kids were worried about back then. And parents. But this you know, looking back, it's tame. It's basically hard rock than metal. But Ace is High. Love that song. 2 minutes to midnight. I keep waiting for the part that goes, and lick the gravy. Cut the meat and lick the gravy. I love that part. Flash of the Blade, Duelist, song Powerslave, Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner. When I went and saw this, they had a bit of the set for a couple of songs, stuff like that. Freaking ruled. But yeah, that's me running through Iron Maiden. I think I got up to 20 minutes. Sorry I didn't spend more time on like Somewhere in Time or something like that. But and I didn't go through song by song by song. I didn't mention I barely mentioned any of the songs here. Just wanted to give my general view of each album. So the very next video, when I do another rock video, maybe a month from now or so, it's going to be all Deep Purple live albums, because I got like 20 of them. I want to talk about them. I got to hear the 50th different version of Smoke on the Water. I don't care. But thank you for watching. Like, subscribe. Watch the rest of my rock videos. I kind of wanted to... For this one, like, usually when I do these albums, there's always like a really weird picks towards the top, but I don't think I really did any weird picks towards the top. I know I probably put Virtual 11 a lot higher than most people would, but then there's a lot of Blaze fans out there, so you kind of understand. I don't think I did anything overly controversial. I put all this stuff from like the last 20 years kind of low, because they really don't compete with the 80s stuff, and this is like me just doing like a Black Sabbath one where you put all Ozzy years above top 8 and then everything else is below. No, I didn't. That's like the standard review, like, you know, Rolling Stone would give or something. I felt like I kind of maybe did that. But that's the way Iron Maiden goes. It's just kind of like the 80s are the best, and then the 90s are controversial, and then the stuff after is you're just kind of happy that they're still making music, and it's not embarrassing. So yeah, that's Iron Maiden's discography for you. Like, subscribe, comment, share, watch all the other videos in the playlist of if you enjoyed this one. So thank you.